Welcome back, Rare Coin Insider. Imagine holding a small, seemingly ordinary coin between your fingers. A coin so common that millions of people have overlooked it for decades. It's the 1971 Lincoln penny, struck in Denver, a coin that most people would toss into a jar, spend without a second thought, or lose in the cushions of a couch. But what if I told you that among these ordinary coins, there are rare variations and exceptional examples that have captured the attention of collectors worldwide, coins that have been whispered about in auctions, talked about in hushed tones in collector circles, and in some extraordinary claims, associated with staggering valuations reaching into the millions. Now, before we go deeper, let's truly understand what this coin is. The 1971 penny is part of the Lincoln cent series, one of the longest-running coin series in United States history. By 1971, the Lincoln penny had already been in circulation for over 60 years, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The obverse of the coin features the iconic profile of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, which once caused controversy when they were first placed prominently on the coin in 1909, are subtly included on later issues, including this one, near the base of Lincoln's shoulder. On the reverse side of the 1971 penny, you'll find the classic wheatless design, which had already been replaced in 1959. Instead, it features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Casparo. If you look closely enough, you can actually see a tiny representation of the Lincoln statue within the memorial itself, a detail that many people never notice. The words, "United States of America," curve along the top. "E pluribus unum" sits above the memorial, and 1 cent is boldly engraved along the bottom. It's a design that symbolizes stability, history, and national pride. The D mint mark, located just below the date on the obverse, tells us that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1971, the Denver Mint produced over 2.9 billion pennies, making this coin extremely common in terms of sheer numbers. So how can something so common ever be worth serious money? That's where things start to get interesting. Let's talk about the weight of the 1971 penny. This coin is composed primarily of copper, specifically 95% copper and 5% zinc. Its standard weight is 3.11 grams. That weight is crucial because any deviation can indicate an error coin, and error coins are where collectors begin to pay very close attention. A coin that is underweight or overweight could signal a striking error, a wrong planchet, or a minting anomaly that significantly increases its value. Now imagine a scenario where a 1971 penny was struck on a planchet intended for another coin, or where the metal composition was slightly off. These kinds of errors are rare, and rarity is one of the biggest drivers of value in coin collecting. A normal 1971 penny might be worth just a few cents, but an error coin could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more depending on the uniqueness and condition. Condition is everything in the world of coins. Collectors use a grading scale that ranges from poor, P1, all the way to mint state, MS70. Most 1971 pennies you'll find in circulation are heavily worn, meaning they've been used in transactions for years. But if you happen to find one in uncirculated condition, especially with a high grade like MS65 or above, the value increases significantly. Coins that have never been circulated retain their original luster, sharp details, and lack of wear, making them highly desirable. But let's go deeper into what truly makes a 1971 penny stand out. One of the most talked about features in this coin is the possibility of double die errors. A double die occurs when the coin's design is impressed onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect on the coin's text or design elements. On a 1971 penny, you might notice doubling in the words, "Liberty," or "In God We Trust." These subtle variations can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure. Another factor that can dramatically increase value is the presence of off-center strikes. Imagine a coin where the design is not perfectly aligned, leaving part of the coin blank. These errors are visually striking and highly collectible. The more off-center the strike, while still retaining the date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin becomes. There are also coins with clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a flaw in the metal sheet from which the coin was cut. These coins have a unique shape and are highly sought after by collectors who specialize in mint errors. Now let's address the bold claim that a 1971 penny could be worth as much as $261 million. This figure is extraordinary and far beyond any verified sale of a Lincoln penny. However, in the world of collectibles, stories and speculation often drive curiosity. While no confirmed 1971 penny has ever sold for anywhere near that amount, it's important to understand why such claims exist. Sometimes, exaggerated values are tied to unique prototypes, experimental strikes, or coins with extreme historical significance. In rare cases, a coin that is one of a kind, with a combination of errors, perfect condition, and historical importance, could command an incredibly high price. But these situations are extremely rare and often surrounded by myth and speculation. That being said, high-grade 1971 pennies have been known to sell for respectable amounts. For example, coins graded MS-67 or higher can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Add a rare error into the mix, and the value can climb even higher. The coin symbol itself, the Lincoln portrait, carries deep meaning. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most revered figures in American history, known for leading the country through the Civil War and abolishing slavery. His presence on the coin adds a layer of historical significance that resonates with collectors and history enthusiasts alike. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side further enhances this symbolism. It represents unity, resilience, and the enduring legacy of a nation that has faced and overcome immense challenges. Every detail on the coin tells a story, from the inscriptions to the architectural elements of the memorial. As you hold or imagine holding a 1971 penny, you're not just looking at a piece of metal. You're looking at a fragment of history, a product of a specific time and place, a coin that has passed through countless hands, each with its own story. And yet, hidden among these billions of coins, there are a few that stand apart. Coins with errors, coins with exceptional condition, coins that have been preserved in ways that make them almost untouched by time. These are the coins that collectors dream of finding. So, the next time you come across a 1971 penny, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look. Examine the date, the mint mark, the weight, the details. You might just discover something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. And this is only the beginning, because as we continue, we're going to dive even deeper into the rare varieties, auction records, secret collector insights, and the real stories behind these coins that have stunned the market. As we continue deeper into the story of the 1971 Lincoln penny, things begin to shift from simple facts into the fascinating world of hidden rarity, collector psychology, and the mysterious journey that certain coins take before becoming legends. Because the truth is, coins are not just metal, they are stories frozen in time, and sometimes, those stories become incredibly valuable. Let's focus now on the production process at the Denver Mint in 1971. This facility was operating at an intense scale, producing billions of coins to meet the demands of a growing economy. With such massive production, small mistakes were inevitable. These mistakes are what collectors today call mint errors, and they are the gateway to serious value. During the minting process, blank metal discs called planchets are fed into presses where dies strike the design onto them with immense force. These dies must align perfectly, the pressure must be exact, and the planchet must be correctly prepared. If anything goes even slightly wrong, the result can be a unique coin. Now imagine that happening in a facility producing nearly 3 billion pennies in a single year. Tiny errors could slip through unnoticed, only to be discovered decades later. One of the most intriguing possibilities with the 1971 penny is the existence of transitional or experimental errors. While officially, all 1971 pennies were struck in the standard copper composition, collectors have long speculated about off-metal strikes. These would occur if a penny design was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin. If such a coin were verified, its value could skyrocket instantly because it would be considered extremely rare, possibly one of a kind. Now let's talk about luster, a term that many beginners overlook but serious collectors obsess over. Luster refers to the way light reflects off the surface of a coin. A freshly minted coin has a radiant, almost glowing surface caused by the microscopic flow lines created during striking. Over time, as the coin circulates, this luster fades. A 1971 penny with full original mint luster is far more valuable than one that has been dulled by years of use. Then there's the concept of red, red-brown, and brown designations. These refer to the color of the coin's surface, which changes as copper reacts with the environment. A fully red coin retains its original bright copper color and is the most desirable. Red-brown coins show partial toning, while brown coins are fully toned and generally less valuable. A 1971 penny graded as MS67 red can command impressive prices because such coins are incredibly rare in that condition after decades. But let's go even further into the world of microscopic details. Under magnification, collectors examine coins for die cracks, die chips, and other subtle features. A die crack is a small fracture in the die that appears as a raised line on the coin. A die chip is a small piece of the die that is broken off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin. While these might sound like flaws, they can actually increase a coin's value if they are distinctive and well documented. There's also something known as a BIE error, where a die crack forms between the letters B and E in Liberty, making it look like there's an extra letter, I, in between. These quirky little details are highly collectible and add character to the coin. Now imagine combining several of these features: a high-grade coin with full red luster, a visible double die, and a unique die crack. Suddenly, what was once a 1-cent coin becomes a highly sought-after collectible. The psychology of collectors plays a huge role here as well. Value is not just about rarity, it's about demand. When collectors compete for a coin, prices can rise dramatically. Auctions become battlegrounds where bidders push prices higher and higher, driven by the desire to own something truly special. In some cases, coins become famous. They are given nicknames, featured in magazines, and tracked through their ownership history. A coin that has been part of a prestigious collection or has appeared in major auctions can gain additional value simply because of its story. Now let's revisit the idea of extreme valuations, like the staggering figure of $261 million. While this number is not supported by any verified sale, it reflects the imagination and excitement that surround rare coins. It represents the dream, the possibility that somewhere out there, an undiscovered coin could change someone's life forever. And while that exact number may be unrealistic, the underlying idea is not. People have found coins in their pocket change worth thousands of dollars. It has happened before, and it will happen again. That's what keeps collectors searching, examining, and hoping. Let's also consider the role of certification and grading companies like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company. These organizations authenticate coins, assign grades, and encapsulate them in protective holders. A coin that has been certified by one of these companies often carries more trust and can sell for higher prices because buyers know exactly what they're getting. Without certification, it can be difficult to prove a coin's authenticity or grade, especially for rare or high-value pieces. This is why serious collectors rely heavily on these services. Another factor that can influence value is toning. While some collectors prefer bright red coins, others are drawn to beautifully toned coins with unique patterns. Toning occurs naturally over time and can create stunning visual effects. In some cases, attractive toning can increase a coin's value, especially if it enhances the overall appearance. Now let's bring this all together. The 1971 penny is a coin that exists in the billions, yet within that vast number lies a spectrum of possibilities. From common, worn coins worth a single cent to rare, pristine examples worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, and somewhere within that spectrum lies the allure, the idea that you might find something extraordinary where others see nothing. That's the magic of coin collecting. It turns everyday objects into treasures, transforms curiosity into discovery, and connects us to history in a tangible way. So as we move forward, we're going to uncover even more real auction stories, the highest confirmed sales, insider tips on how to identify valuable coins instantly, and the hidden secrets that only experienced collectors know. Because the deeper you go into this world, the more you realize this is not just about coins. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the power of knowledge, and the possibility that the next coin you pick up could be the one everyone has been searching for. Now, as we move further into this journey, things become even more intense, because this is the part where reality, market behavior, and collector obsession collide. The 1971 Lincoln penny stops being just a coin and starts becoming a case study in how value is created, amplified, and sometimes even misunderstood in the world of numismatics. Let's talk about real market behavior. In the coin collecting world, prices are not fixed. They move, they fluctuate, and sometimes they explode unexpectedly. A coin that sold for a few $100s years ago might suddenly jump into the thousands simply because demand increased or a new discovery was made. This is especially true for coins like the 1971 penny, where new varieties and errors are still being identified even decades later. One of the most powerful forces behind this is auction competition. When rare coins appear in major auctions, collectors from around the world participate, often through platforms connected to organizations like heritage auctions. These auctions are not just sales, they are events. Collectors study the listings, analyze the coin's grade, its color designation, its strike quality, and even its microscopic imperfections before placing bids. Now imagine a near-perfect 1971 penny, graded at the very top of the scale, with blazing red luster, razor-sharp details, and no visible marks. Coins like this are extremely rare because even the slightest imperfection can lower the grade. When such a coin appears at auction, it can trigger a bidding war. Collectors know that opportunities like this don't come often, so they push the price higher and higher. But it doesn't stop there. Let's dive into population reports. These are records maintained by grading companies that show how many coins exist at each grade level. For example, there might be thousands of 1971 pennies graded at MS65, but only a handful at MS67, and maybe just one or two at MS68, if any exist at all. This scarcity at the highest grades is what drives extreme value. A coin's population data can turn an ordinary-looking penny into a superstar. If collectors know that only a few examples exist at a certain grade, they will compete fiercely to own one. It becomes less about the coin itself and more about its position in the rarity hierarchy. Now let's explore something even deeper: die states. Over time, as dies are used to strike coins, they begin to wear out. Early strikes from a fresh die are usually sharp and detailed, while later strikes can appear softer and less defined. Some collectors specifically look for early die state coins because they represent the design at its absolute best. On the other hand, Late die-state coins can develop unique characteristics like heavy die cracks or flow lines, which can also make them collectible. So even within the same year and mint-mark, there are layers of variation that most people never notice. And then there's the concept of eye appeal. This is something that cannot be fully measured by a grading scale. Two coins with the same grade can have very different visual impact. One might have vibrant color, perfect centering, and a clean surface, while the other might look dull or uneven. Collectors are willing to pay more for coins that simply look better, even if the technical grade is the same. Now let's address the elephant in the room again, the idea of a $261 million valuation. At face value, this sounds unbelievable, and in practical terms, it is. No 1971 penny has ever been confirmed to reach anything close to that number. But here's where it gets interesting. In the world of collectibles, value is not always about past sales. It's about potential, uniqueness, and narrative. If a coin were discovered that combined multiple extreme factors, such as being struck on the wrong metal, having a dramatic error, being in flawless condition, and having a documented, fascinating history, it could theoretically reach a value far beyond anything seen before. Think about famous coins in history. Some coins have sold for millions of dollars because they are one of a kind or tied to important historical moments. The same principle could apply to a 1971 penny under extraordinary circumstances, but let's stay grounded in reality while still appreciating the possibility. Most valuable 1971 pennies fall into a much more realistic range, from a few dollars for high-grade circulated coins to hundreds or thousands for uncirculated examples with strong eye appeal and rare features. Error coins can go even higher depending on their uniqueness. Now let's talk about how you, or anyone, could actually identify a valuable 1971 penny. The process starts with observation. Look at the date and mint mark. Make sure the D is clear and not altered. Examine the lettering for signs of doubling. Check the edges for irregularities. Weigh the coin if possible. Remember, the standard is 3.11 grams. Any significant deviation could be a clue. Use magnification to inspect the surface. Look for die cracks, chips, or unusual textures. Pay attention to the color. Is it bright red, or has it toned over time? Check the overall condition. Are the details sharp or worn down? And perhaps most importantly, compare your coin with verified examples. The internet, auction records, and collector forums are full of images and information that can help you determine whether your coin is something special. Now let's shift perspective for a moment. Imagine a person who has no interest in coins. To them, a 1971 penny is just a penny. But to a collector, it's a puzzle, a challenge, an opportunity. This difference in perspective is what creates the market. Value is not inherent. It is assigned by those who understand and appreciate the details. This is why knowledge is so powerful in this field. The more you know, the more you see. And the more you see, the more opportunities you have to discover something valuable. And here's the most exciting part. These coins are still out there. They are in circulation, in old jars, in forgotten collections, in drawers and boxes that haven't been opened in years. Every day, people come across coins without realizing their potential. Some of those coins end up in the hands of collectors who recognize their value. Others continue to circulate, waiting for someone with the right knowledge to notice them. So as we move toward the final part of this journey, we're going to uncover even deeper secrets, real-life discoveries, hidden hoards, expert strategies, and the mindset that separates casual collectors from serious treasure hunters. Because by now, you're starting to see it clearly. This is not just about a coin. It's about seeing what others don't. Now, as we go even further, it's time to explore the hidden stories, myths, and astonishing discoveries connected to the 1971 penny. because this is where the ordinary transforms into the legendary. While billions of these pennies exist, there are documented instances where collectors stumbled upon rare varieties or error coins that defied expectations, commanding attention and sometimes eye-popping prices. First, let's talk about one of the most exciting categories for a 1971 penny, the double die obverse. This is when the coin's design, especially the lettering, shows a visible doubling effect. In some examples, the letters in Liberty appear shadowed, or the word "In God We Trust" seems thicker, as though stamped twice. While most people wouldn't notice these subtle differences, seasoned collectors immediately recognize them. Double dies can add hundreds or thousands of dollars to a coin's value, particularly if the doubling is dramatic and the coin is in high grade. The 1971 double die pennies are among the most studied in the Lincoln Cent series, and collectors carefully document their every characteristic. Next, consider the off-center strikes. Normally, a penny is perfectly centered, showing the full obverse and reverse designs. But mint errors sometimes occur when the planchet is not properly positioned in the press. Off-center strikes of the 1971 penny can vary from slight misalignments to dramatic errors, where only half the design is visible. The more extreme the off-center strike, the rarer the coin, and rarity directly impacts value. Coins with errors of this nature often sell for thousands of dollars at auction, particularly when they retain good condition and some original luster. Clipped planchets are another fascinating category. Imagine a coin where part of the edge is missing because the metal strip it was cut from was irregular. These coins are instantly recognizable, and each one is unique in shape and size. A clipped 1971 penny can draw attention simply because it's visually striking. Collectors love these anomalies because no two are ever exactly alike. Then, there are coins with die cracks and die chips. Over time, the minting dies used to strike pennies can develop small fractures. These fractures show up on the coin as raised lines or blobs, sometimes forming intricate patterns. Certain die cracks are so distinctive that they are documented and given specific names within numismatic circles. Some collectors specifically hunt for these rare die varieties, and when they find them, the coins can be sold at significant premiums. Coloration and luster also play a major role. A 1971 penny in red condition, where the copper retains its original bright reddish tone, is far more desirable than one that has turned brown or dull. A red coin with full mint luster and sharp details can be considered a premium example, often fetching much higher prices than its grade alone would suggest. Luster and eye appeal often tip the scales when two coins share the same numerical grade, but one simply looks better to the eye. Now, let's address some of the myths that have circulated about the 1971 penny, particularly those that have fueled tales of extreme values, like the alleged $261 million coin. Some stories claim that a unique mint error was produced with an unusual planchet or composition. While no verified sale approaches such astronomical sums, the myth captures the imagination because collectors and enthusiasts constantly speculate about the possibility of a one-of-a-kind coin that could shatter records. Such myths remind us that coin collecting is as much about storytelling and possibility as it is about tangible value. Another key factor is provenance, or the documented history of a coin. Coins that have been part of famous collections or previously owned by renowned numismatists often command higher prices. Provenance adds legitimacy, establishes rarity, and sometimes even creates a narrative that elevates a coin's status beyond its physical characteristics. For example, a 1971 penny discovered in a carefully preserved estate collection could be far more valuable than an identical coin found in loose change at a grocery store. Certification by professional grading services has transformed the market for coins, like the 1971 penny. Companies like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company provide authentication. Grade the coin on a scale from 1 to 70 and encapsulate it in tamper-proof holders. A certified coin carries trust, assurance, and credibility in the marketplace. Without certification, buyers may hesitate, regardless of the coin's condition or rarity, because verification is crucial when large sums of money are involved. Market trends also affect value. The 1971 penny, like other collectible coins, is influenced by broader economic conditions, the popularity of coin collecting, and auction demand. When interest in coin collecting surges, prices can rise dramatically, especially for high-grade or rare varieties. Conversely, market slowdowns can temporarily reduce prices, though rare coins almost always retain intrinsic value due to their scarcity and historical significance. The beauty of the 1971 penny lies not only in its potential monetary value, but also in its historical significance. Struck during a time of social and economic change in America, this penny represents more than currency. It's a cultural artifact. From the civil rights movement to the height of the Cold War era, the coin is a small, tangible piece of history, connecting collectors with the world of the early 1970s. For those considering entering this hobby or investing in coins, understanding what makes a 1971 penny valuable is essential. Look for high-grade examples, investigate potential error coins, check for luster and color, examine die features, and consult verified auction records. Pay attention to provenance and certification, because these factors often make the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one that could command thousands. Finally, there is an element of thrill in discovering coins in circulation. Imagine sifting through a roll of pennies and suddenly spotting a coin that stands out. Perhaps the luster is perfect, the letters appear slightly doubled, or the edge is irregular. That moment, when you realize you may have something special, is priceless. It's the intersection of patience, knowledge, and luck that makes coin collecting so compelling. And remember, while a 1971 penny worth $261 million may remain a myth, the lessons it teaches are very real. Value is a combination of rarity, condition, historical context, appeal, and collector demand. Each coin carries a story, and each discovery is a potential treasure. As we continue exploring this world, the possibilities only expand, revealing a fascinating universe where even a humble penny can become a legend. Now, as we dive into the next layer of understanding, we enter the realm of collector strategy, hidden hoards, and the stories that give the 1971 penny its almost mythical status. While billions of these pennies exist in circulation, only a tiny fraction holds exceptional value, and uncovering them requires knowledge, patience, and sometimes a bit of luck. Collectors often begin by targeting coins that are problem children in circulation, those that appear slightly different from the standard. Even a subtle difference in color, texture, or strike alignment can hint at an error or an unusual variant. In the case of the 1971 penny, experienced numismatists scrutinize the edges, the mint mark, the date, and the letters for irregularities. Coins that appear ordinary at first glance can sometimes reveal hidden surprises under magnification. Hidden hoards play a significant role in the excitement surrounding these pennies. Over decades, many coins have been stored away in jars, boxes, or even forgotten safes. Some of these coins were untouched since the 1970s, meaning they retain the original luster and color that collectors prize. There are stories of people discovering dozens of uncirculated 1971 pennies in estate collections, long-forgotten bank rolls, or old cash drawers. Each of these finds can produce coins that are far superior to the ones typically found in circulation, making them highly desirable in the market. Auction records show the influence of provenance, condition, and narrative. A high-grade 1971 penny, verified and certified, can attract global attention. Collectors often compete fiercely for such coins because the rarity combined with excellent visual appeal creates a perfect storm of desirability. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers Galleries regularly handle these coins, and the competitive environment can dramatically increase prices beyond expected ranges. The science behind grading cannot be overstated. When a 1971 D penny is evaluated, graders examine minute details, the sharpness of Lincoln's cheekbones, the clarity of the D mint mark, the crispness of the memorial columns, and even microscopic imperfections on the surface. They check for planchet flaws, die cracks, and edge irregularities. Every tiny detail can influence the coin's grade, and even a half-point difference on the MS, mint state, scale can translate into a significant difference in market value. Let's also consider the psychological aspect of collecting. Human behavior plays a pivotal role in the value of rare coins. Scarcity triggers competition, and competition triggers bidding wars. When collectors perceive that a coin is the best available, or the last of its kind, emotions often override rational pricing, sometimes pushing coins to astronomical figures. This is why narratives, myths, and stories around coins, even unverified ones, can influence perception and increase demand. Error coins in particular create excitement. Off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and unusual coloration are all highly collectible. Each error is unique, meaning no two are exactly alike. For a 1971 D penny, an extreme off-center strike with full original luster or a dramatic double die could be worth thousands of dollars to the right collector. Coins like these are often documented in numismatic journals and online forums, and collectors spend years hunting for them. Another fascinating aspect is toning. Over decades, copper naturally reacts with environmental factors, producing color variations from subtle brown to deep red or even rainbow-like patterns. Toned coins are highly aesthetic, and collectors often value them for their visual appeal as much as for rarity. A 1971 D penny with stunning natural toning, sharp details, and original luster can command prices far above a standard example in the same grade. The story of extreme valuations, like the legendary $261 million claim, reminds collectors of the allure of the one-of-a-kind. While such numbers remain firmly in the realm of myth, the principle is grounded in real market behavior. A combination of extreme rarity, perfect condition, unusual error, and compelling provenance can produce mind-boggling prices. This is why collectors never dismiss a coin outright. Even an ordinary-looking penny could conceal extraordinary value. Now let's address the future potential of the 1971 D penny in the market. As coin collecting continues to evolve, demand for high-quality coins grows. Baby boomers and older collectors often pass down collections, introducing coins into circulation that may have been preserved for decades. At the same time, younger collectors and investors are entering the market, drawn by both the history and the potential financial value of rare coins. This generational transfer and renewed interest in numismatics ensure that 1971 D pennies with exceptional qualities will remain desirable for decades to come. Technology also plays a role. High-resolution imaging, online auctions, and digital marketplaces allow collectors to identify rare coins and connect globally. Coins that might have once remained hidden in a small town or private collection can now gain worldwide exposure. A 1971 D penny with a unique error or perfect condition can attract multiple competitive bidders from across the globe, driving prices higher than ever before. Finally, consider the sheer narrative power of these coins. Each 1971 D penny is a fragment of history. It passed through the hands of countless Americans, witnessed economic cycles, and survived decades of circulation. It carries the imprint of the minting technology of its time, the design choices of Brenner and Gasparo, and the cultural context of the early 1970s. To a collector, It is not just a piece of copper, it is a tangible connection to the past. And this is where the magic truly happens. A coin that might appear insignificant to most people holds layers of complexity, rarity, and potential value that can turn it into a treasure. From subtle double dyes to dramatic off-center strikes, from pristine luster to unique toning, each factor contributes to the overall story and desirability of the 1971 D penny. Collectors, investors, and enthusiasts who understand these nuances see opportunities where others see ordinary change. They study population reports, analyze auction trends, scrutinize microscopic details, and track provenance meticulously. This combination of research, observation, and intuition transforms a simple coin into an object of fascination and potential wealth. Now we arrive at the most exciting part, the stories of discovery, the real-world evidence of the 1971 D penny's potential, and the lessons that make it so fascinating to collectors, hobbyists, and investors alike. While most 1971 D pennies circulate unnoticed, occasionally, extraordinary examples emerge, changing the way collectors see this coin entirely. There have been cases where a coin roll, thought to contain nothing more than ordinary pennies, revealed a gem. Imagine unrolling a sequence of coins and spotting one that gleams with original mint luster, the copper a vivid, bright red, with a D mint mark perfectly struck and subtle double die characteristics on the lettering. Such a find can send collectors into a frenzy because these coins are extremely rare. Even seasoned collectors admit that the thrill of discovery, the moment when an ordinary coin suddenly appears extraordinary, is what keeps them searching. In major auction houses, some 1971 D pennies have sold for impressive amounts. While none have reached the mythical $261 million mark, certain high-grade examples, especially with documented errors or exceptional provenance, have commanded prices in the thousands. These coins are often certified by grading services like Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company, which not only verifies authenticity but also provides assurance to buyers that the coin's condition and features are accurately represented. One of the most compelling aspects of these discoveries is how they combine multiple factors: rarity, condition, and historical context. A 1971 D penny that is off-center, fully red, perfectly struck, and in high mint state might be unique in the world. Its value is not just monetary, it is a piece of numismatic history, a snapshot of a moment in time preserved in copper. This combination of factors is what drives the extraordinary allure of the coin, and why collectors are willing to invest substantial sums to secure them. Moreover, the 1971 D penny's story reminds us that even common objects can hold hidden treasures. It encourages meticulous observation, patience, and a curiosity about the past. Collectors learn to look beyond surface appearances, to study minute details, and to understand the significance of even the smallest features. It's a mindset that applies not only to coins, but to the broader pursuit of discovery in life, seeing value where others see the ordinary. In conclusion, the 1971 D Lincoln penny is far more than a 1-cent coin. It is a testament to history, design, and the enduring fascination of collecting. From Victor David Brenner's iconic Lincoln portrait to Frank Gasparo's depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, every detail speaks to artistry and national identity. From billions minted in Denver in 1971 to the rare error coins that surfaced decades later, this penny represents the full spectrum of possibility, from ordinary to extraordinary. Its value is shaped not just by metal or minting but by condition, rarity, errors, provenance, and collector demand. While most examples are worth only a cent or slightly more, exceptional coins can reach prices that astonish both collectors and the public. And even the wildest claims, like the $261 million valuation, serve to underscore the fascination and mystique that coins like this carry in our imagination. Ultimately, The story of the 1971 D penny is a story about discovery, patience, and the thrill of finding something rare and beautiful in the everyday. Every coin tells a story, every flaw adds character, and every high grade or error example becomes a piece of history worth preserving. For collectors, it is a journey of observation, knowledge, and sometimes luck, where the simple act of examining a penny can reveal hidden treasures, connect us to the past, and even change the course of a collection forever. So next time you pick up a 1971 D penny from a drawer, a roll of coins, or an old jar, pause for a moment. Examine the date, the mint mark, the luster, the color, and the details. You never know, you might be holding a rare piece of history, a collector's dream, or even the beginning of your very own legendary discovery. That is the enduring magic of the 1971 D Lincoln penny. From humble circulation coin to the potential of extraordinary value, it reminds us that even the smallest things can hold the greatest stories. This completes the in-depth exploration of the 1971 D penny, the coin, its design, its history, the errors that create rarity, the market dynamics, and the thrill of discovery that makes it a timeless fascination for collectors worldwide.